Wash Hot Summer. Whatever the fuck that song is. I like that song too. It's kind of clean.
The
Yeah.
thing is, I went back and listened to the Big Day like 2 weeks ago. I'm gonna give it
What's
like
it
a
now?
strong 6 out of 10 now. It's kind of cool.
Damn,
Oh
damn.
no.
No, no, listen. Okay, so the thing is, this thing that they messed up with on that album, they started off strong with like the first 10 songs. Like if you go back and listen, to, other than Hot Shower, of course, 'cause that song is fucking
That's
dumpster.
that's the best song on the album.
That's the
Come on
worst
now.
song in history.
No.
It's worse than
But
fucking
continue.
Rebecca Black Friday. Fuck that song.
That Friday's going
That
pretty
shit's a
kind of fire too.
banger.
Mm-hmm.
But the first
I
10
don't remember
songs,
flashing
other
that
than
at.
that one, that's so strong. Like you just gotta go listen to it. But then after that, it falls the fuck off and it becomes nothing but filler. But the Big Day, cool as shit now. Kinda, a little bit.
Bro,
I like
Chance
him.
is the filler right now in the rap game. Fuck that.
He's just nobody respects him anymore because of the Big Day. I mean, like, so me and Z were talking. Okay, so he got Acid Rap. He has 10 Day, and he has Coloring Book. Three like arguably strong ass albums. I'd probably give them all probably like 8 out of 10 or above. All of them. 10 Day maybe a 7 out of 10, but Acid Rap for sure 9 or 10, and then Coloring Book for sure 9 or 10. Then he didn't do anything until Big Day, and just that shit was ass.
Like, he did that Christmas album. That shit was kind of cool
That
too.
shit was
With
cool
Jeremiah.
too. That's the thing. He did it with
Jeremiah.
fucking Jeremiah. Yeah, I still remember the fucking a couple of songs on there. But then he stopped doing that. I don't know. He just got too happy in life. I feel like some people like draw inspiration from a certain thing and then make fire off of it. Like Taylor Swift would be nothing without relationships. Adele would be nothing without relationships. Chance just need drugs. Like
Yeah,
this is all it is.
I don't know. I got. I love that nigga. He was my favorite rapper too. Like, I loved him. I
What
bet
is he now?
he's not my favorite rapper anymore. That's Tyler. I don't even. Because to me, before it was Chance was my favorite rapper, but Childish Gambino was my favorite artist. Because there's a difference.
I never really
And
fuck with
then
Childish Gambino, not music wise.
that's
Yeah.
why I didn't realize that, but a lot of people don't like him. Like a
No,
lot
it's, okay,
like
so I just never
Yeah.
gave it a chance to listen to it. I guess I'll rephrase it.
I think it might just be like people. He used to be really corny, like in the camp days. Like he used to
Yeah,
be like really like corny as shit. Back when he was doing like mainly just like stand up or like um
you know stand up
I,
too.
I
That
think he
nigga's
was
so
still even
talented.
even acting back then, like just like in the community and stuff like that.
Mm.
But when he dropped, because of the internet, that should change. I mean, at least for me, at least for a
Niggas
lot of
hate
people,
that
that should
album
change.
though. Some people hate that
I mean,
album. They
did
think
you
that's
did y'all like that
How?
3/17/18 album that he dropped?
Fuck no.
No, but like
It was
look, the
nah. It
first
was a good
song was
album. That
fucking
was
the first song sounded like the meme that's like the trash beat, but then it like morphed into like an actual good song with Ariana Grande. So I didn't know what to think about it.
Yeah, there's
that
only
was
like
that was a good
three good
album.
songs on that album.
It's just the rollout was terrible. The nigga just like I hate when people. Not, I can't hate him. It's that people would kept on like, oh, we want an album. We want an album. He said, here, fuck it. Here's an album. And gave it to niggas. Like
And that
that's
shit
why.
dropped when I was on a fucking treadmill, like working out. I was like, "Oh, new Gambino album. Let me hear this shit." I got off that treadmill, bummed as fuck. I left the
Oh
gym.
my! You left the gym because of the album.
Yeah, shit was.
Like you
I'm not
Uh,
probably
gonna
weren't in the
lie.
right mind.
The first time I listened to it, I was like, you know what? Let me give it a chance. This Gambino's that's the boy. Let me give it a chance. I went into it with an open mind. I left with an open mind. But I listened to that shit again. I was like, please, like, why,
It's a pretty
why?
solid
he
album. I
dropped
feel
Atlanta
like
though. He dropped Atlanta. You gotta give him his
I saw
credit.
this.
X.
I this is the thing because they didn't force him, but like he was like not like I don't know because they just people be making like they just make too many rumors and then stuff just goes out of crazy. Like but the whole like J. Cole and Kendrick gonna drop a dual album. It was the same thing for
That was
Gambino and
so whack. I'm still waiting. Look. Like me
that's
and
never coming
Rico,
out. That's never
that
coming out.
shit. So whenever they dropped that like little 2 pack where they both rapped on each other's songs, and then Cole was like, then this February when we fuck around and drop and then cut off, I was praying to God that it dropped in February. Cause like I mean it's my birthday in February. That would have been a fire ass album. Like I was fucking so
Hot take.
disappointed when nothing came.
I'll
What?
take keep that shit. I don't want that shit ever in
What
my
the
life.
fuck? What do you mean?
You,
Listen,
Why?
listen. I'll
you
tell. I'll
hate
tell you why.
music. Now you hate music.
Nah,
Why?
no. Listen,
You
listen. I'll
really
tell you why. I'll tell you why, bro. I
do.
hope you're recording. I'll tell you why. Listen. Those
You hate
Kendrick and Cole are so like huge and so like in separate lanes. I mean, obviously, like they attract similar, like I guess fan bases, like the
Conscious rappers.
conscious rappers, lyrical fans. But their fan bases are so different, and they themselves as artists are very different in themselves because I can't really, I just the thing is don't see it. Obviously, I can't see that happening, like them coming together. Like obviously, aside from maybe like doing that like when they did the Black Friday shit, like the rapping on each other's beats or whatever. Um, I just don't see that work. Not necessarily that it won't work. It's just that I don't think we need that. Like I honestly think I'll be
Bro,
okay
y'all
with a
y'all
Exactly.
wanted
solo
y'all
album,
wanted a
like a solo
Kendrick
album.
Baby Keem album though. Y'all were waiting
No,
for that
I
shit.
don't give a fuck about that. I mean, I could
Now,
care
cause
less
it's
about that.
ass.
Not even that. It's just like in general, like I don't see Kendrick. I mean, me being the big Kendrick stan that I am, I don't see him like ever doing like a collab album like that, or like not that it'll be bad. I don't think it'll be bad at all because they're like such great rappers. It's just that there's really no need for that, and I think they understand that as well.
Bro, Jazz, what do you want a Kendrick Cole album?
I just love music, unlike tacos. I'm just ready to
That's
just
true.
eat.
That's true. That's
Just,
true.
Why?
yeah. I'm trying to hear some good shit. But because I was just saying because Gambino did the same thing because him and Chance said they were dropping a dual album too,
Don't
and
nobody
people
want
were
that bullshit.
nah. I wanted that shit because when they were in their when
Bro,
they
all
were in
she
their
needed was
prime,
all she needed was
exactly
all
that
she
shit was
needed was a
clean. He was off the
what did she
acid
Okay,
like.
need?
if the entire album sounded like the one song of Acid Rap, my favorite song, then I'll accept it because that's like a different sounding song. But like now, no, they
The
can keep that shit. They
thing.
can for sure keep that shit now.
Oh well, yeah,
Ain't
no.
But this
nobody in the world is looking for that shit right now.
nah, I'm still looking for it because I want them to redeem themselves. I want people to redeem themselves
Chance
because
needs
these
to
niggas are
take drugs. We don't
Bro,
want
the
it.
thing is, how can Gambino drop This Is America and then drop that bullshit of an album like the year after? I don't get it.
Album. It was a good album. It was all right,
Oh, that shit was bullshit. Nah, man.
that album. People like that album a lot. It's just
bro.
that
I
the
mean,
low
I
life
mean,
is
there's
so
I
much.
forgot what it's
four
called because it's just
songs.
it's a date. But like,
It's
I
like
don't.
3:15, like 20 or some shit.
Nah, no way it
It's a
came
good
out
song
last
right
year.
now.
I think it was like
And I
2018.
didn't come out last year, but like it had this random ass date, so like, I got you.
I don't
Ah,
know.
that
The
shit
thing is,
shit.
like, I've never really listened to Childish Gambino,
Yeah.
so I'm. If it was a Chance and like, who do I want? Chance and maybe like a Vince
I need
Wait,
Staples
what
that.
the
or
fuck?
Vince Staples, Isaiah
It came out
Rashad.
last year. It came out
Bro,
last
this
year,
shit
didn't
did
it?
come out last year. What
I
the
told you.
hell?
Yeah, I
It
know
came out
that shit. Yeah,
2020.
yeah,
Yeah, what the
it
fuck?
did.
Ain't no
It came out.
goddamn way it came out 2020.
No
It
way.
did in March,
The
right?
Childish Gambino album came out last March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold up.
COVID is nah.
Yeah,
That's
bro.
fucking
March
impossible. Hold on, I'm
22nd. What
looking.
the
There is
fuck?
no fucking way.
March
I
22nd.
thought that came out like 2018.
I mean, I'm not gonna
What
lie.
the
Yeah, I thought
fuck?
it came out 2019.
That's wild. No, that really just blew my fucking mind.
No, it came out last year.
So Gambino's album caused COVID because it wasn't until he
Yes,
dropped that
dude.
shit that the world went to shit right after he did.
Yeah.
Fuck,
Yeah,
man.
That's the first
yeah.
week that New York went into lockdown. Like the
Just
day
say
after.
yeah.
The shit dropped
The
on
day
Sunday.
after what?
This shit dropped on Sunday. I remember I was on treadmill. I was in the gym on fucking Sunday, and the next day, New York locked down for like 2 weeks, a whole last month.
So
That
COVID
Monday.
really. So maybe COVID's what messed up his track sales. Maybe if he dropped it like without COVID, it would have sold like 800,000
Fuck
or something.
no. Fuck no. That nigga rollout was so bad. He didn't want to drop that album. He did not want
He
to
made
drop
a
that
whole
album.
website for it. Remember, because
And then
he's
took
like
it,
Oh,
and then
counting.
he
He was
took it
like counting
down.
down or whatever.
Now he
He
put
made
it
it
up at
available to listen to only on the
Yeah,
website
yeah.
for like a whole week.
no, he put it up first, took it down like 30 minutes later. Niggas were going crazy on Twitter. Then he put it back up, yeah, on his website, and then went to streaming services afterwards. That was like the worst rollout I've ever seen in my lifetime.
But they went crazy though. They went crazy.
Man, the only song I know that people really love on the album was the song called like Time or something.
I don't
Some
remember
shit
not
like
one
that.
goddamn song on that album. All I remember is that the first song was completely trash and it went into like a beautiful ass song.
Fucking no, I don't even like that album
Algorithm,
like that
time,
anyways. My album
12:38.
was the one with the woman on the front, like Me and Your Mama, wherever the fuck.
Oh,
I like that
actually,
album.
Awaken My Love.
Awaken
Perfect.
My Love,
I mean,
that's what it's
close
called.
to perfect. That's
Um,
just like
Niggas
a
hate
9.
niggas hate that album too. They hate that album.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Childish
Nah, cause
Childish Gambino
Santano,
ass, but Donald Glover cool.
Fuck,
I'm
what?
not. I'm not doing that shit either.
Bro, he a
Cause
way better actor than he is a music producer or music
look at
creator.
you. Look at you. Just talking out
Bro,
your
look
ass.
at the stuff he's
Oh
created as an
no.
actor. Niggas really fuck with that Parks and Rec show or Community, where the fuck that nigga was on.
Yeah, community.
And he created Atlanta.
I
See,
mean,
There ain't no
yeah,
way you about
but
to say Atlanta not wavy.
it's
bro,
not
have
even
you
say
ever
that.
heard
Okay.
Oakland though?
I've only heard my favorite song by that nigga. I ain't gonna hold you.
Oh
Good
nah,
question.
I
I
gotta
need to
put
Man,
you on
start.
game
I heard that
I'm
now.
song where
starting
he
to
was
listen.
like, what did he say? Like something about a period in a uterus or some shit? I
Oh
what are
forgot.
you
my
talking
fucking
about?
I don't know
god.
what the
What
fuck
is,
that nigga said.
man, start the
I gotta
podcast.
put
Start
you
the
on right
podcast.
now.
Start the podcast. Start the
What is
podcast.
good, y'all, bro? We'll name this podcast later because we still don't got a fucking name for this shit, bro. 3 episodes in, but it really don't matter, bro. We might just keep this shit like this. I mean, it's kind of wavy anyway. We got the homie Taco. We got the homie Jazz. What's good, y'all? What's up, y'all? How y'all
Later.
doing?
Yeah,
How y'all
what's
doing?
good? What's good?
All right, so we of course missed last week. I can explain. I can explain. So last week, I mean, you guys probably already fucking know anyway, but my grandfather passed away. I had to go to Texas on an emergency drive. We had the funeral. I literally got back Sunday that we were supposed to record, and then luckily these two like accepted that I was grieving and stuff, so they were like, yeah, we'll just wait till next week. But other than that, like my mental's pretty good right now, honestly. Like, we usually start off with the highs and lows, so all week I haven't really had any lows. I mean, COVID's going. I'm at peace with my grandfather. I was at the funeral, so I'm really at peace with that. Um,
How old
and
is he?
he was 67, I think.
Damn.
He was pretty old, but or that's not really that old, but
Yeah, I feel like
Pretty young, yeah.
yeah.
he had CPD because like he said he's been
Um,
smoking like his whole life, like cigarettes and
I
stuff.
know.
So but I mean
Yep.
that's not why he died. They said he passed peacefully. Like they did an autopsy and they just said he just passed away. And the funny part is I don't think I explained this to anybody. I haven't gotten a chance to, but the thing is like 2 weeks before he passed away, he stopped talking to my mom. He stopped talking to me. He stopped talking to the rest of the family. But before he did that, he called us all, checked on us. I remember the exact call now, of course. I didn't know it would be important back then. But I was walking into the house, and he called me, and he was like, how you doing? And I was like, I'm good. We talked for a few minutes, and then at the very end of it, he was just like, I really love you. I was like, love you too, G. I mean, I called him G instead of Grandpa. We hung up, and then he didn't talk to anybody for like 2 weeks. And everybody said whenever they went to go check on him, he would just kind of be like meditating a little, like just in bed, reading his word, and like just wouldn't talk to anybody. And then his sister went to go visit him because she lives in Baltimore, and she visited him on Saturday. They had a cookout, had a good time, everything was normal. Then Sunday morning, she went to go check on him, and he passed away peacefully. So it's weird how life works out because it's like he knew that he was gonna go. It's
That
just
guy talked to God. He talked to God or
yeah,
something.
it's
No, no,
real
no.
weird how it worked out because it's like he said he loved you. He said he loved you to everybody. Then he stopped talking to us, so like kind of I guess cut us off so we wouldn't be that affected by it. He told everybody to not take money out of his account to pay any bills. Like it's like everything that he did sounded like he knew about that shit. That's what's so weird about it. But like
God talk like he had like some type of angel or something. Cause there ain't no way. He really
Yeah.
knew it was coming.
cause like so I'm on his bank account. So my auntie went over there to talk to him. He's like, hey, you really need to pay the electric bill, the phone bill. You're usually on time. Like, what's going on? And he was like, nah, don't touch that money. Just leave it in there. So he didn't pay any
He,
bills. That
he
money
just
that
wanted.
was inside that account ended up going to us to get to Texas, like for a rental car and then paying for his funeral and stuff. So like we wouldn't be able to go on if that money wouldn't even in there. So
Yeah, that's
that's
not that's
That's
something.
crazy.
That's something. That's
it's
like some out of the body type shit. No way.
that's what I'm
Like he thought of
saying.
everything.
That's it's so weird, man. That's what ended up like putting me at ease with everything. Like I said, I didn't really tell anybody about that. My mom knew, I knew, of course my family knew, but like I didn't really tell anybody. But that's why I felt so at ease about it because it's like he kind of sounded like he knew he was gonna go and he was ready for it. Like the reason I think most people are sad about death is because they're taken aback or it comes unexpectedly. But like when you hear that somebody is just like is preparing to go and then they just die peacefully after knowing that basically they were gonna go. That's just so weird. Like they didn't find anything like suspicious in him. Like he didn't like overdose on anything. He didn't overdrink or anything. He just went peacefully. His heart just stopped. So it's weird, man. But yeah, rest in peace, G. You know, see you again one day. But how's you guys last week went?
That man's a guardian angel. Like I feel like he really watching over the family type shit. Oh, that's some, that's
It
definitely
was
something.
that story is just crazy, and they just kept telling me stuff over like more and more that just made it more crazy. Like the part that like he told her not to ever like not he didn't say not to ever. He said not to touch the bills because he wanted to keep the money in the account, knowing that I was on it. That's just the crazy part to me because he pays his bills all the time, the day of, every single time. Like that's where I like learned to pay bills so well because of him. But like just this one time he wants to be late and just not pay the bills ever. Like that's just fucking that's crazy to me. Well, it's you,
I'm,
Jazz.
gl-
How you doing?
I'm glad you went over there too. But lows and highs. Lows probably getting sick this week. I don't have COVID or nothing. Y'all chill. But I did. Okay, at first I thought like my throat was just getting like it's like a little sore throat, and then that was like maybe for 2 to 3 days, and then I got like a stuffy nose, and that was literally it. I really thought I caught. Well, I didn't think I caught COVID because COVID, you caught COVID. You probably use your you
Hell
touch your
yeah.
face, like that's a whole different thing. So I know I didn't catch COVID. So that was, but that's still low because you got sick. It's always a low. Um, I don't know, like probably high was last night, right? We watched movies. That's just always like a high to
Yeah.
me because it's just moving. We just doing our thing. That's probably got high. We watched Candyman. That shit was
Well, we
cool up
gotta
to
we
the
gotta get into
ending.
that because that.
It was cool to the ending. That shit was ass after the ending. It's not even ass. It's just confusing. Like, what the fuck is going on? And then we watched what else? We watched Forever Purge. That movie is for sure ass. Forever Purge is for sure
That
ass.
shit
I don't know what the movie
certified
is
by
about.
Soda for sure.
Hell no. That definitely got to be a hype though. I think today Corey's supposed to be posting Super Scary Sunday. I was like looking forward to that at the end of the week. Yeah, not yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, you posted that video about breaking through your limits. That was a very inspirational video. I suggest y'all go listen to that on YouTube. He did his thing with that video. It matches what Apollo's been saying, what Berlin, like any like black content creator, whether it be anyone you think of, like King Vader, any of these people, they always say the same thing. But like just sometimes just hearing it from the right person is always hits differently and gives you like a new source of like energy. When Corey makes a video about that, it just always like hits hard. And the way he's like, the conviction about him and like his connection with God. I'm not religious like that, but like him, like I like hearing people talk about stuff like not projecting it to other people, like tell oh you should believe in that way, but like just them just talking about their experience with it. I love hearing stuff like that. So when he talks about him and experience with God, about him like I think he tried to apply to a college, and the college said no. And then and instead of like letting him get him down, he applied to a different college, and then eventually, like I think like a year after, he ended up transferring to his desired college, like his first choice. And he was kind of like God, like paved this pathway for me, type thing. I don't know. This is very inspirational. I love hearing stuff about that. But
I,
yeah, that's my week.
that kind of like made me think about something. We could talk about it after, but after Taco goes, but like the Christians that be like trying to force you to believe in what they believe in, they on some other shit. I don't know what the fuck was wrong with them niggas, but I don't know. That's maybe think like these niggas, those niggas are just something different. Cause like I consider myself a Christian, but I'm like more on the spiritual side than the religious side. Cause I really don't go to church or read my word or nothing. But I definitely believe that there is a God. But like I just don't understand like the people that just like, oh, you better believe in that right now. You're going to hell. Like I hate that shit so fucking much. Like you ruin the name for everything. Like the niggas that do that and like try to get people to like force them to believe in God. Like that's the reason you're like making Christians look bad. Like the first thing that atheists say is like, well, there are people that try to force it upon me, and I just hate that shit. Like it's because of them, but that's neither here nor there. I just had to go on a little tirade right quick. How you doing, Taco?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm chilling. As far as I'll start off with low. I guess as far as low goes, I would probably say maybe like Tuesday or Wednesday. I was just doing a lot of like I don't even know what the word is, like not self reflection, but a lot of like just letting it all out and letting a lot of emotions out. Whether it's like through I know we talked about this, like whether it's like through crying or healthy like coping mechanisms and stuff. Just because life is kind of fucked up sometimes, but thankfully, even with that being said, it's I guess like the stuff that's happening in my life is a lot less like bad, or like a lot less like worse than it can be. Because I know a lot of people, obviously there's people that like suffering, have like actual like super big issues that they can't really like do anything about. But I try to stay, I try to be healthy with it when it comes to like coping mechanisms, stuff like that. So like Tuesday, Wednesday, it wasn't the weren't the best days of the week, but I think the past well, today was pretty chill. Today's Sunday. I was did some working out in the morning, like going out for like a little jog. When like I was walking on like this fucking bridge, big ass like breeze going down the whole time I was there. It was fire. Rest of the day today I've been chilling. Yesterday I took a long ass fucking nap from like like as soon as I finished work, it was
Hell
like
yeah.
fucking
You've heard of that.
3:30 to like 5:30, and then I woke up, I checked my phone, and then fell back asleep up until like fucking 9 o'clock. So
Damn.
it was not. It was like a 5 hour nap.
No,
This
those are
shit was
needed
kind of wild.
sometimes.
Yeah, because the thing is, I used to nap, and like I used to nap more. Uh, like end of high school, because I know like a lot of people just like throughout their whole life nap, like elementary, middle school, high school. I didn't really start napping until like senior year of high school. Then in college, I napped a little bit more. I just haven't napped overall, but I did yesterday, 4 or 5 hours. But then with that being said, I was awake until like 4:30 ish last night. I was like watching like shows and shit like that, but I couldn't sleep. Then I had to wake up at 7 today. But shit, we here,
You're,
we good. I'm
Alright,
feeling good.
damn.
It's
you're
gonna be a
fucked.
good ass week. Shit, let's go.
Well, all right. So, Jazz, let me ask you a question right quick.
Yeah.
So, Taco's talking about like releasing emotions and stuff. When's the last time you cried?
I don't remember, so it's probably been a while. I don't.
Damn.
I don't cry. Like me, me and my two friends, like Leo and Devon, with us three, and like even you, like you said it before. Like, it probably goes for most men. Like at least black men specifically, maybe too. I'm not too sure, but like we just don't. Maybe I'm projecting, but I just don't cry like that. I never have. Uh, it just builds up for months, and then all of a sudden it just break. I just break down from either something like really big, just like I just can't take it anymore, or like it just be something like just randomly I just start crying, and it kind of just builds up over time. It's definitely not healthy. I just don't know. I just don't cry. I just don't cry.
Wait, so
Like
like,
yeah,
okay, so
I
whenever
don't
you go
know.
through like a sad situation, what do you do to cope?
Probably listen to music. That's why I love it so much. Probably listen to music. Probably it. Honestly, I don't know. Like I mean, I haven't. There's nothing even big, like really big, like happens that's like been sad, like a loss, like how you just went through, or anything like that. It's just like just like I don't know, it's my mental just dipping, whether it just be from school or just my current situation, or just like not feeling like I have control. Like I have control of my own life. Obviously, everyone does, but I feel like I'm just not doing things I want to do. Like I want to be like, I mean, everyone wants to travel and like go across the world and do certain things. I don't know. I just feel like I just want to be out of like out of here living by myself, just doing my own thing, and like properly be streaming and just certain things like that. But I'm just not being able to do it right now because I'm going through school right now
Yeah.
and things. So it's the things like that, I guess. But yeah, I mean I don't know if I should say I should start crying more because I mean people just everyone cries differently at different times. But
Yeah.
and it's definitely not healthy though for me to just not be crying for months, I guess. But I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
I
I
for
can't remember
sure
last
do the
time.
same thing. Like if bad things happen to me, it takes like a snowball effect for me to get like, okay, yeah, I need to cry. You know, if it's just something like if something happens, I'll push through it. Two things, I'll push through it. Three, four, five. But then like after like the sixth or seventh, I'm like, all right, yeah, I need to cry right quick because this shit is just too much. Like I for sure think it's healthier to cry more. That's why I think. Man, I feel like how can I word this? I feel like girls are probably more strong mentally than most guys are. Because guys are just always taught to like never cry, man up and go through it. You got this, but don't ever show your emotions ever. And women are taught to kind of like, it's okay to show emotions. Whenever something bad happens, it's okay to cry. You don't have to be strong all the time. You can just cry through it and then find a way to solve it. But like I for sure feel like some girls are more mentally capable of situations than guys are, because like I don't think we are taught well at all in this world. Honestly, I mean, whether it's a black man, Hispanic man, white man, like men are not raised right whatsoever.
I saw that on TikTok too, about like just that like that type of discourse, and a lot of people are saying like it's because of men in the first place, because like the whole patriarchy and yada yada stuff, that whole like overarching thing. They're saying like back in the day, like I guess maybe from like even from like during slavery times, I don't know, but maybe because it's from like white men. There's always been like like you said, like men are supposed to just be like tough and like strong and not show any like emotions and always like be the providers and hold even goes to, even from things like holding the door open for girls or like going around opening the car door for them, like even stuff like that. And it's coming to modern times. So now like a lot of men are like, I've been seeing them in comments like, oh, I can never cry, I can never tell my emotions to my mom or maybe my girlfriend or whatever, because if I do, then I feel like I'm a bitch or whatever. And then they also be saying like, if I tell my girlfriend how I'm feeling or I open up to her, that they use it against me as like a weapon
Yeah.
type thing. So it's just like, and then people are replying to them. It's like, well, not to like take away from your pain, but it's like this whole overarching thing has been going on for decades now because of men. Initially, was like we want men to be like this. We want the stature of men to be like, yeah, you need to be tough and strong and not show emotion, which is why people, who are gay or more feminine men are always looked down upon, like, oh, you're not masculine enough. So it's like it's an overarching like problem, and we're just now trying to like work our way through it and solve it. So we're kind of like breaking down those things that have been happening from the past, and it's hard because we still live in a society where it's like a lot of people still think like that, like if you're a man, you're not supposed to cry. If you're a bitch, if you cry. Yeah, I remember when I was younger, when I used to cry sometimes. I like my mom be like, "Why are you even crying?" And she would say things. I love my mom. It's not like I'm trying to hate on her or nothing. I love my mom, but she would say stuff like that too. Like, "Why are you even crying? Like, you're not supposed to be crying." Yada yada yada. So that continues. So that's probably why I don't cry to this day.
No,
Or at least I'm
my
saying.
stepdad, he would like he wouldn't like bully me, but he would like put me through hell if he saw me doing anything like emotions wise. Like I mean, I'd just be like, so like okay, so when I was raised, like I knew that if I ever wanted to be an emotional any sort of way, I could talk to my mom. If I ever needed like hard life advice, I could go talk to my dad. But like if my dad ever like just saw caught me slacking and saw me crying or anything, he would like just give me hell. Like, what are you doing crying in there? Like, be a man. You're supposed to just tough through stuff. So I just feel like that just sticks with us, and that's probably why we don't cry at all. Because like, literally, like the things that we're taught when we're younger, whether people want to believe it or not, stick with us for the rest of our entire life. That's why it's so hard for some people to unlearn stuff because it's like cemented in their wiring, basically in their brain. So like, it takes a lot for me to cry, but it definitely feels good whenever it happens.
I
But
think
I do
also
feel a better, yeah.
maybe like a big factor in like um why this whole thing is still continues to happen when it comes to traditionally like men aren't really like allowed to show or shouldn't be showing like their emotions and like crying and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of it is also like being like perpetrated by who like who you may be surrounded with, not just at home with family, but like at school too. Like for example, if you're in like a friend group, for example, let's just say like high school, like high school is a good like medium ground from like adulthood and like childhood or whatever. Let's just say you have a friend group and like your friend group, they don't really ever really have in that situation where you've all been together and like have had like a serious sentimental moment. Maybe it's just like all laughs and it's all like having fun stuff like that. Um, because I feel like for I mean, I guess just using myself as an example, when I was in high school friends, my high school like friend group, I guess you could say. I guess for half of high school, it was definitely still on that. Um, you know, gotta like not really show emotion because if you show emotion, you're gonna get clowned on like by your friends. You're gonna
Yeah,
bring that
friends do
up and
that
shit
all the
like
time. Yeah,
that.
yeah,
one
yeah, for
thousand
Because I
sure.
mean
percent, yeah.
that's just how kids are. That's just what 15, 16-year-olds are like in the high schools and stuff. But as like time went on, like I think like in junior year, senior year, Definitely, obviously, depending on like what specific situations you may be going through and stuff. Sometimes you may have like one or friend
Okay.
group, who you may have like muffle. So you may have like one or two people in that friend group where it might be like a little bit more sentimental, like you might be a little bit closer, and when you get that opportunity to be more one on one and be more like open about your feelings, that definitely would help, and that definitely like helps to build upon that like notion of it's okay to be, sentimental. It's okay to be emotional around like people who are your friends. In this case, since we're talking about like, let's just say it's like, you're like a man, like your friend group is also like full of men and stuff like that. So, you know, being able to build like a relationship like that with like a friend or anything like that, where you're able to show your emotions, especially at, in that high school age, I feel like it definitely would help to set you up for, let's just say if you're going to college, if you're, obviously maybe if you don't go to college, if you're working, things like that, it definitely helps set you up for like a better outlook, I guess I would say, in that specific front when it comes to showing emotion. Like me personally, I've always kind of I've always been an emotional person. Since I was little. My parents know that I'm very close with my parents, and like what Apollo was saying before. No, I think it was I'm not sure if it was Paul or Jess, but basically, with my mom, I've always definitely been a little bit more closer to her. I've been able to be like a little bit more emotional around her. Not that my dad like would like say anything about me being emotional. It's just like I know with her, like I guess I'm a little bit more like my mom overall more than my dad. But even now, like my dad's like still like open like for me whenever I have to be emotional or if I cry stuff like that. Um, I think that definitely helps. And yeah, that just me being an emotional person, uh, when it comes to crying, obviously, like I said before, that's definitely something I consider like a healthy coping mechanism. So I guess me, like personally, I used to cry for like dumb shit. That's just because, like I said, I'm an emotional person. Shit, I can't help it. But I feel like more recently, the past few months, and I mentioned this as well too, like in Discord, if you guys like have seen, it's just
Yeah.
like I've been had a hard time like trying to put out my emotions, like whether it's through crying or whatever. Like I just use the example of crying. I've just like had that trouble with expressing that or like letting the tears out because I don't know, just for some reason whether it's wouldn't say it's necessarily pressure from like society or the topic we're talking about. It's just like physically like I haven't been able to cry. So that's what I was mentioning before. Like this week, like what Tuesday, Wednesday, I was like I kind of let it all out what I've been like holding in for the past like weeks or like few months or whatever. Um, just like overall with everything in my life. So I feel like overall, it definitely if you're able to get I mean, this is more for like the high school like age group, or even if you're beyond high school, like younger adult, like maybe in your early 20s. I feel like it's definitely would help if you do have like a close friend or somebody who you're willing to be like a little bit more like in depth with when it comes to like showing emotion, when it comes to being more personal. I feel like having at least one or two friends you can definitely like relay your emotions to, and without judgment, without any type of reservation, it definitely would help. And I think that's just overall healthy because you know at the end of the day, I would say you only have yourself in some situations, but it doesn't always have to be like that. Like you could always have that one or two friends, or people that just like look out for you, or just being able to relay your emotions to them in a healthy way, whether it's crying or just venting and stuff like that. I think that's something always good to do. So that's just like a little advice for anybody who's maybe uncertain about things. It's always good to have maybe one or two people to talk about specifically, if you're comfortable with them. With being very personal, being very like vulnerable, and I feel like that definitely can help out in a lot of ways.
Why do you guys think it is? Like, just kind of talking about the male stigma, or whatever. Why do you think it is like the dad is always kind of the bad part of the parents? Because, like, okay, think of it like this: it's always the mom, her kid. The dad is usually or sometimes absent, and if the dad is there, then he's always like completely emotionally unavailable. Like, I just feel like no matter what situation you're in, I don't think the kid will learn emotions from their dad ever. I mean, like, if the dad isn't there, then of course you don't learn anything. And if dad is there, then it's basically just like a brick wall. Like he's there, but he's just there to provide for you and your mom basically, and then you learn everything usually from your mom emotionally and everything else. So like
So I
what
said,
you said what?
no, I'm saying this is what I said from earlier about the whole. I don't know. I guess the term might be like I said, patriarchy or whatever the case might be. But it's that same like you said, stigma of like men since the beginning have ever been told to like not have emotions and stuff like that. So even so it go like I guess on the other side for women, it's always been like, so you're supposed to be the emotional one. So you take care of the kids, you feed them, you do all, you stay at the house, you do all these. So the mom is always around the kids, usually most at least like most of the time. So that's why even modern day, in a lot of cases, like within child disputes, the mom could be like out of hinge, and she'll still usually get the kids if there's like a divorce is happening, regardless, because she's the mom. And that's how they look at it till this very day. There was like a case where like the mom was like the biggest problem within the family. Like, she was like hurting the kids and stuff like that, and she still ended up getting the children and not the dad. And it was only till when that case like happened again where she was beating the kids again that they came back and took those kids and gave it to the dad instead of the mom. So like even modern day that stuff still happens a lot. So
That's
and
so
then
wild.
I still think it's just like moms are just that's like another thing too as well as like it's like a maternal factor because like even within pets of course children love their moms just love the women within the house more than the dads are because they're always usually at the house like they're the ones picking them up from school driving them to their games yada 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 while the man is at work. So when he comes home he probably only comes home like at night during the weekdays. The mom's been there the whole day with the kids with the pets yada yada yada, and she's been dealing with their everyday problems, probably about their crushes, they're being bullied at school, whatever the case might be. So they're more attached. The dad's never there, so it's just like an ongoing thing since like the past till modern day, where it's like even if the dad does want to be in their kid's life, well, I mean, even like you said, they might. I think they're at the house and stuff like that. They are there, but they're not emotionally there because they never get to sit down with their kids on this on an everyday basis and have like a talk with them, like, oh, how's school going, or do you have any crushes, or like because there's things where like fathers don't even know basic information about their children.
And it's
They'll
like a
go
normalized thing too.
yeah, they'll go to like the doctor's office and then be like, "Okay, what's your child allergic to?" And so you usually be like, "Oh, let me
Shit,
call
I
my
don't
wife."
know.
He doesn't know jack shit. They don't know like their children's like best friends. They don't know their favorite foods. They don't know anything, and that's bad. So that's why I'm glad, at least with our generation, we're starting to like break down that kind of like that barrier. And a lot of people like, when I become a parent, I want to be the opposite of my parents, or at least like take certain things and change it, and actually like be with my children. At least like for them, I guess like the dad type of side, because there's no reason why you should be taking your kid to the doctor's office and not even know when their last checkup was, or not even know what they're allergic to, or just whatever the case might be. And like you said, like I don't know, it's just been going on ongoing for a long while. So it's just I'm just glad at least it's finally being looked at. Probably not to the extent it needs to be, but at least it's being talked about.
Yeah, I just recently noticed this. In Texas, it was me, my auntie, and my little cousin. She's like probably like 7, 8. She's real young, but we were all sitting there on the couch, and like my grandpa had like this bird's nest or some shit like outside of his door. They were like in the little corner or some shit, and there was like 5 baby birds, and we just kept seeing the mom coming over there and like feeding them and then flying out. And my little cousin was like, "What's the mom doing?" And my auntie was like, "Well, she has to feed her kids." And then and my cousin was like, "Well, why can't the dad do it?" And like I really that just made me realize that I've never seen like a dad feeding the fucking birds ever. Like it's always the mom that does everything. And like even whenever you said like the mammals
That
or
even
whatever,
there?
like huh?
Is the dad even there? I haven't seen
No,
that.
like I've never heard like I've always heard like mama bird. I've never heard of a fucking
Yeah,
dad bird ever existing ever. So like
yeah.
it's like that's like a trope everywhere. Like the dad is just never if he is there, he's not emotionally there. And if he's not there, then of course you don't learn anything from that nigga anyway. So it's just like, damn. Like males just get the fucking bad stigma everywhere.
That's wild. I just really, yeah, I've never heard of like what the fuck is the dad bird doing?
Like,
Is that even
he literally just gets them pregnant and then just don't do a damn thing. That's just so
That's
fucking wild to me, bro.
wild. That's wild.
But all right, so
That's
last
so
week
many animals. God, that's like lions too. 'Cause, I mean, I think lions are reversed. 'Cause don't the lionesses go and hunt and the dads kind of stay back and
the
protect
dad is never
the
there anywhere, like everywhere,
Yeah.
like in every fucking animal kingdom part, like the dad is just there to knock up the woman and then basically just keep getting everything else pregnant, like besides the wife. It's just like, damn, like that's just not. It's not even just a human thing. Cause like when my like it really took my little cousin to make me realize that I've never heard of like a dad bird doing a damn thing ever. Like I'm pretty sure the dad bird just like gets the bird pregnant and then just flies off and then continues doing what he's doing. Like that's just so fucking wild to
whack.
me. But last week since I was absent, we weren't able to talk about 9/11 or anything. So I wanted to come on here and personally say, not that I apologize, but I have sympathy for anybody that lost any family members. New York, because I heard, because obviously I don't live there, but we do have somebody that does live there. So maybe if you want to speak on it, if you remember anything, but my sympathies are for anybody that dealt with any trauma or lost a family member or anything during 9/11. I know New York is really messed up from that. America is very messed up from that. But Taka, do you remember anything about that day?
So I actually don't at all. I think my age group. So I'm 23. So I was born in '98. I was 3 years old when it happened. My age group is apparently said to be the last ones to remember anything, if anything at all, because obviously anybody after born after '98, '99, 2000, obviously 1 or 2 year old, you're not really gonna remember anything. But I do have some, well, I wouldn't say friends, but there was some people I remember I went to high school with. They would like tell like maybe like a memory or something they had at that time that they remember. Like I said, I personally don't have any type of memory of that day. Like I think my first memory might have been when I was like 4 or 5 years old, possibly. I'm not sure how normal that is, but then just going back, even though I don't have any memory of it, every year it kind of before I go any further, I do want to say, of course, sympathies to everyone who's lost a family member or anybody they know because of the event, whether it's the day that it happened or the years after with all the related illnesses. But I just wanted to say that, like I said, even though I don't remember it specifically, every year it's just something like little thing I do is I watch documentaries and stuff like that. I'm not that big of a documentary person overall, but I do, get in my moments where, if I find something, good, I'll watch it or whatever. But specifically every year, like on 9/11, I'll be watching like 2, 3 9/11 documentaries, whether it's like about like the attacks or, you know, sometimes they do like specials like only on like the last phone calls that people had with their loved ones, whether they were in the planes or the towers, stuff like that. And I guess just being in New York or just being, obviously being born and raised here, every year you do feel like a kind of sense of like sorrow and kind of just like kind of emptiness, I guess I would say. Really over the past few years, it hasn't been as noticeable. Like if you're out and about, if you're like, gonna get food or if you're, maybe doing some grocery shopping, anything like that. 'Cause I remember specifically years ago, maybe like I would say 10 years ago, I remember he's still, like, being around, in public. It wouldn't be as like vibrant. It wouldn't be as like happy or people. Obviously,
Damn.
people know what it is. People know what the day is, and especially where I live. So I live about 30 minutes, like 35 minutes away from New York City. Manhattan, I guess I would say, because from the Bronx, I live like super close to the Bronx. But yeah, so just being that close to the city, obviously there's gonna be people here, like in my city, my county, who were victims or a family of victims and stuff like that. So it definitely is very close to home here. Just from firsthand, from what I've seen, from what I've heard. I myself, thankfully, obviously, I wasn't specifically affected. I didn't lose any family members or anything like that. I do obviously know, being that I'm, so close. It is so close. It did happen so close to home. Sorry. I do know some people who did lose like family members who did lose loved ones. I have a bunch of coworkers who did lose loved ones or who
Damn.
their parents, their family members were in the towers the day it
Wow.
happened, but they
That's crazy.
survived. They got out. Yeah, I had like a little I had like a little work meeting last week. I think on the day of, and I think one of my coworkers, she was mentioning how her parents were like in the one of the first few floors of the towers. I think one of the towers um, when the plane hit. So there was this whole story about they had to like evacuate and leave, and there was this other story how um, I think like one of the parents of the coworker that I'm talking about, their parent went back in to try to help people, try to help people evacuate, and at one point they saw somebody get killed who was running away from the building by a person who had jumped from the building.
Damn.
So like straight on collision, like from the person who jumped off
Oh
to the person
God.
who was
That
on the
is
floor.
crazy.
Yeah, so it's very, it's a lot because obviously that being me having no memory of it is different than obviously somebody who was there or who had family members that were there. But it was just so like heart wrenching and just like I couldn't even like really process it for a few minutes. Like after that story was like told, like she went into much more like graphic detail. I won't say that now, but it was a lot, and yeah, just reflecting on it, it's changed everything. Not just how people treat each other. I guess day to day here. Obviously, it's the country went to war, um, lost many lives. People here in the country are still affected by it, whether it's illnesses and laws were put into place. Things like the TSA were created, Homeland Security was created. Um, things like the Patriot Act, which definitely affects a lot of people still to this day. Um, that was, of course, enacted. So it's just a lot of things. It's a lot of culmination of things. It is such a big event, a big tragedy that did happen, and yeah, that's just my viewpoint of it. Even though it is 20 years later, a lot of people still are going through it. Understandably so, because they lost, you know, sons, daughters, wives, husbands, friends, family, and yeah, just sympathy to them and their families and strength.
I feel like New York might be like the closest state and like relative to like how affectionate you guys are for each other. Like I mean, there's like a whole stigma, like of course that you guys are like assholes and like always like cussing each other out and shit.
Yeah.
But I feel like New York, out of any state that's here, probably like if you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us type shit. Cause like Georgia, damn sure ain't like that, and Texas, you can feel like 20 states inside that bitch. So ain't no damn way they're close to each other.
Yeah, the cities itself are like, for Houston's like, yeah, like I'm from like I'm in like H Town, Houstonian, and like San Antonio. So, yeah, yeah, but like, it'd be like the whole state. Nah,
So I mean, like New York is for sure the closest then, right? I mean, because I don't know what the fuck happens in like North Dakota and all that shit, but I'm pretty sure it's nothing but farmlands and
Yeah.
stuff. California, they're constantly at war with themselves all the time. I just feel like New York is like, if there were to be like a blueprint of how the rest of the U.S. should be, I would say probably like New York, honestly, because
nah,
like
but don't they be fighting too? Because they be like they be like don't say you're from this part of New York if you're not from this part of New York. They be like trying to gatekeep low key. I've been seeing it. Like they be like
I
what are
guess
you
that's
from
just a
like?
New York
I
thing.
mean, but yeah, they gatekeep, but it's still like if you mess with one of us and then like that's all of New York you got to deal with. I mean that's just the perception I get anyway. I don't know. Like of course you hear they're assholes, but like I still feel like they're closer. I mean, my only perception of New York is fucking watching Spider Man, so I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
I don't know.
Now, yeah, like the shit you saw like in the Spider-Man 2, like the scene where I guess like Spider-Man's like knocked down in the train.
Yeah,
Like Doc Ock's there, like in what's his name? Joey Diaz comes out. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna have to go through all of us."
yeah,
Some shit like
exactly.
that.
That's why
That's kind of what it is. That's
that's what
kind
I
of
feel
what it
like
is,
y'all are
honestly.
like. I mean, of course, of course, there's certain parts of New York like nobody would dare go to if you're a tourist or something. But like, I just feel like y'all just all like genuinely close to each other. I mean, down here in the South, everybody literally hates each other, except the white people. So I mean, the Georgia's not
Right.
a fucking blueprint of anything except
Yeah.
racism.
Now Atlanta's pretty cool. I feel
Atlanta,
like.
yeah, but Atlanta's the only part. Like that's it in the entire state, and that's the only like majority black city, I think. But I mean, I don't know facts or statistics or nothing. But since we're on 9/11, I saw a lot of people on social media this year, like stopping people from joking about 9/11. Like this is the first year I've ever seen anything like, hey, 9/11, nobody make any jokes. This is a serious day. Nobody say a damn thing that's disrespectful. And if you do, then you know we're gonna gang you or some shit like it. This for some reason it's the first year I've ever seen people like actually respect the date. I mean, of course I respect it every year, but you got those dumbass niggas that just like think dark humor is racism and making fun of dead people and shit like that. Which I kind of want to talk about if you guys are down, because I hate dark humor honestly. That's
It was a lot on TikTok. It was a lot on TikTok. That's why probably people are probably defending it because on TikTok there was a lot of videos going around. People like, I can understand the mindset, but it's like you're just ODing it at that point. 'Cause a lot of people like I don't like it when people try to I guess like push 9/11. I don't know what they're trying to like. I don't know what they meant by it, but they're like I just like I wasn't like for example I was born in 2002, so I'm born after. I don't remember anything. Obviously, I wasn't even born during that time. So a lot of people like are my age or like younger are like, well, I wasn't even born during that time. So like, what am I remembering? What am I like? Why should I care? Type of thing. And I saw a lot of black people were just, which is really disgusting. Was like, well, like slavery happened, and you know it happened a long time ago, and people don't care about that. So why should we care about 9/11? I'm like, please don't do that because that just leads
nah.
to way worse. Because then it goes into like the Holocaust and a bunch of other shit that you can start speaking about. Like, please don't. Like, I understand like how black people, of course, like you know, the slavery did happen. We're still going through the like the ramifications and stuff like that, and we still are suffering because of it. And I understand that, of course, we all do, but don't compare deaths, don't compare don't compare like tragedies to each other, because we start doing that then we're getting absolutely nowhere. So a lot of people are doing that, and that's probably why people are like we're trying to defend it and like hey like you know respect 9/11, because at the end of the day whether you're a conspiracy theorist and think it's a hoax or whether you know you actually do believe it happened and it was a whatever, people really did die on that day regardless. Towers fell, people are dead, a lot of people lost family members, a lot, etc. So regardless of what you think, people died that day, and respect that. At least respect that. Like it's like people just don't have no sympathy no more. People just don't care. Like people on TikTok just making like crazy ass videos, like fuck 9/11, like yada yada yada. Like I wasn't even born there at that time. Why should I care? Like bro, I mean like you don't have to care, like I guess, but like at least respect the date, respect
Well,
the people who died.
when did dark humor become like this big like? Because what I remember in high school, like people use like dark humor and stuff a lot, but like it like a fucking evolved or some shit in the past couple of years. Because it went from like joking about dark topics to just blatantly being racist or sexist or ableist or anything. Like I hate that shit. Like I remember actually one time in high school, because I went to like a majority white school with a whole bunch of just fucking country people basically. But I was talking to like somebody I considered a friend at that moment. But he was like, "Bro, you want to hear a joke? Like it's kind of dark and it's kind of on the little dark humor side." And I was like, "Sure, what's up?" And he was like, it was something along the lines of like, what does a chainsaw when chasing black people or some shit like that. And I was like, "What's up?" And he said like, "Run, nigga, nigga." He said some like crazy wild shit. And then like hid behind the fact that I told you it was dark humor, man. Like it's okay if you're joking about it. Like what? Wait, what? Like of course when I was younger, I didn't know how to like defend against stuff like that because I was only like 16 or 15 or some shit. So I probably just like smiled it off or some shit. I mean, because I didn't want to like make a big deal out of it. But like as I look back, like dark humor is just like what's the point of saying stuff like that? Like that's just blatantly racist. I just don't understand it honestly. And then with the whole 9/11, people just like making jokes about it for no reason. And I'm pretty sure I've heard a couple 9/11 jokes about people jumping from buildings and stuff like that. Like, what's funny about that? That's just so stupid at this point, honestly.
I think there was a turning point
I'm not honestly sure what specific time. I guess I would put it at. I guess I would say definitely anywhere from like 2014, 2015 to like I would say like 2014 to like 2016, maybe even a little bit earlier, like around those years. Let's just put it in that time frame, like that 3 4 year time frame. I feel like that's really when dark humor evolved into what it is today. When it comes to like it's just not humor. It's just fucking like stupid. This like stupid things that are said, which are mainly filled with like racism and slurs and stuff like that. Because I remember at one time, obviously, we were all in high school. We've all said like, dark jokes, like dark humor jokes and stuff like that. At the time, which dark humor was like, oh, I don't know, basically like your mom joke, but like, going like the next step or something like that. And nothing too like insane, but
Yeah.
still kind of like taboo, I guess. But nowadays, like yeah, like the joke you just said, I've definitely heard somebody say that shit before, like at my school, like in high school, like maybe like senior year or something. And I feel like a lot of it has to do, in my opinion, with things like maybe like meme culture and like 4chan and things like that. Just because um, things like obviously memes have always kind of been a thing. They've just evolved into different types of forms. And when you
Nah, memes are
have
like a language at this point.
oh yeah, when you have like things like at the time, um, like the creation of like Pepe and like the evolution of that into like an alt right symbol, and then that leading to like the creator of Pepe killing off the character because he don't fuck with the alt right like racism trying to bullshit they were trying to like do with Pepe and everything like that. I feel like a lot of it yeah just has to do with around that time where it's just like I'm not sure what specifically sparked it, whether it was like um things like social media definitely kicking off things like Instagram, Twitter was always kind of around but didn't really start popping until like maybe like a little bit after 2010 or so. Um but I would say like just like the growth in these like social medias like yeah like Vine in like 2012, 2013. Obviously, you have TikTok now, but back then, I would just say like the popularization of these social media apps made it more easy for people to like perpetrate like their bullshit and like their racism out to like social media and have that spread out, and people will think, oh, that's like funny or like spread it around stuff like that. I feel like that's how uh, humor, specifically dark humor, has evolved into what it is today. And I think it's just fucking stupid because
It's just
you do
corny.
have obviously it's corny, it's stupid. You do have adults who like you're doing that shit who go like I've seen like on TikTok as well like who go on like fucking like Omegle or like something like that just do like are in full costume and like cover their face, say like racial slurs or like try to like say dark jokes,
And
anti-Semitic
that's not
shit.
even a
That's not a
joke.
joke.
Yeah,
No, you're just
exactly.
racist.
Exactly. The thing is, they try to pin it to, oh, it's dark humor, bro. I don't know what you're talking, bro. That's fucking racism. You just said a slur. Like, like it just doesn't make sense to me because people. The thing is, people will always be trolls. There were no matter what stage you are in life, no matter what you're doing, no matter who you're talking to, people are always gonna be fucking trolls. Now it gets to a point where you know when to back off and shut your fucking mouth, and just the other point of it is, okay, this person is a fucking racist. This person says this, says that, and it'll never end, and people will just make it even worse. And when it comes to like the whole 9/11, like people trying to joke on 9/11 and stuff like that, I've seen that for like I've seen that for years. Like even in the Vine days, there used to be like Vine edits of like the planes and everything like that. They try to make it like an edit, like some like
Forgot
cringy
about
shit, and I
those.
was like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
bet yeah, I bet you guys have seen like that type of shit too. So like yeah, like I said, overall, it's just people being mad fucking corny and racist, and it's not at this point. It's not even dark humor. It's just blatant racism. It's just blatant stupidity at this point.
To me, it came from Vine because a lot, like you said before. At first, it was like stuff that wasn't like dark humor, but like it was like it was kind of like in between like all those stereotype videos like from like Lele Pons and like freaking King Bass who said this about like 400 years, making all
He
these
set
like
us back so far.
racially stereotyping videos of like a Mexican at a party or like a Like even though like those like dark humor people could like well first was like those dad like those black people just was like oh like I'm playing golf with my dad and then it's like then me I'm playing golf with my dad and there's no one there and people thought that was dark humor and that was it was at the beginning and then it kind of transpired to what it is now. To me, it wasn't even from Vine. It was early YouTube because we all know about people like Logan Paul, Jake Paul,
Yeah.
specifically people like PewDiePie and people who remember him Leafy. That dude
Yeah,
Leafy on
Leafy
YouTube
was a
used to be
wild
going
ass
crazy.
nigga.
Used to be going. This is when YouTube had no anything. People could just do whatever the freak they wanted on YouTube. But him and I say PewDiePie because PewDiePie used to, him. What's the other dude's name? Him, freaking Filthy Frank, who's now Joji, if you
Joji,
know
yeah.
him, the artist. But all
Also,
them people,
that content cop dude. I was thinking the other
Oh
day,
yeah, iDub.
yeah,
we really let that dude say the N word, and
iDubbbz,
then he was like, I
iDubbbz.
was only saying it to teach her a lesson. Like, bro, no,
I
you still
remember
said
that
the
shit.
N
I was like,
word,
what the
and people were
fuck?
like okay with it. Like, I remember that the other day. I was like, wait, what the fuck? No, you still said the N word. You're racist too.
So all them like I feel like maybe it kind of started before them, but they normalized it, and then maybe what they weren't trying to do dark humor per se, but them just saying this outlandish shit like this blatant racism or homophobia because they be saying the F slur too. They were just and everything was just flying back then. No one cared. They kind of popularized it, especially people like who are as big as PewDiePie. This man's like 100+ million subscribers on YouTube, and he's over here saying the N word with a hard ER on like on live and stuff like that.
Like three
And then
times on that same live.
and nothing's happening to him. People like iDubbbz, people were still thinking he was funny back in high school. For me, at least, like during 2018s, people were still finding him funny, doing that whole content caption and stuff like that. Leaky was really big for a while. He was just bullying. He was literally bullying people in his vid. Like some of them, they're kind of like okay, I can see, but some of them were just like literally him just bullying people. He's just straight up bullying people.
Bullying little
And
kids.
people,
That's the same reason they got on what's that dude's name? Gum, Rice Gum. Because he was just bullying
Rice
like
Gum.
yeah.
like little 7-year-old kids and just like cussing them out and shit.
And it's corny. Like when we I don't know. Like when you're younger, you don't like notice these things. So you're like I knew who Leafy. I didn't watch Leafy, but I knew who he was and things like that. I didn't watch PewDiePie. I didn't watch none. I didn't watch Markiplier. I didn't watch any of the big YouTubers like that. I watched like RDC. I was still watching RDC Berlin when he was coming up. I was watching people like that. So I didn't know about these people. But like looking back on it now, like wow, like y'all really started a wave of like this hate, this like pure hate and this like nastiness. And now they're like, they're different now. Like Logan Paul's a way different person. PewDiePie's I guess, a different person, yeah.
I
And some things,
suppose.
I suppose, yeah. He's like really, he just stays to his own now. But people like iDubbbz, like for example, like Joji, for example, he completely rebranded himself because that man as Filthy Frank was insane. But now he's some big artist that everybody loves and part of 88 Rising with Rich Brian in them. Even Rich Brian, his name was Rich Chiga. He had to change his name because when he initially made that name, it was on some like dark humor type shit on like
Yeah.
under
Also
that mask.
that nigga Higa dude, the Asian dude.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
And he had to change it
him
to Ryan
too,
Higa recently.
him too. I
The thing is,
forgot
like,
that shit.
my mom would always be like, "Who you watching?" I'd be like, "Nigga Higa," and she'd be like, "Who?" But like, I'd always been like, "No, it's only with one G. It's okay." Because I was a little kid. But then, like, as I grew up, I was like, "Wait a second, like,
This is
no."
like a side. This is like a side note, real quick, but about him, about Ryan Higa. I remember in elementary school. My school sent out a letter to the parents of everybody one night because this is when he was popping. Like his videos started to go viral. Like I
Yeah,
don't know if you guys know his like older content. It's like he used to make videos they were like skits, but it was like how to I don't know, like how to be like a superhero, how to
yeah. His
be a
videos would go
gangster, some shit like
crazy.
that.
Yeah,
And one of the videos was like I forget what it was. I think it was like how to be emo or something. And like the letter was like, "Oh, we have been made aware that several students have talked about, you know, Ryan Higa's like, content like in the video called How to Be Emo and like talking about like suicide and stuff like that." And I was like, "God damn, like
damn.
people already like, talking about that shit in elementary school?" Like at the time, obviously I was like fucking like I was like third grade. Like I didn't know what the hell was going on. I barely watched YouTube then. I watched YouTube like after that, but still I was like, what the hell? Like the impact that these people make, like it reached a level in
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
fucking
it's
elementary school.
crazy because I genuinely used to like watch. I used to love watching Ryan Higa, but like
Hell
the
no.
thing is, like I didn't realize the videos that they would be making, like that would have such a grasp on little kids. Like imagine if I made a video called "How to Be Emo" and I talked about killing myself in order to be emo. Like what the fuck? Like that just proves that we're in a different time. And I think also like us being in a different time now is what also made the dark humor and shit evolve into like way worse stuff. Because like I noticed that as soon as people started like taking up for themselves and actually caring about whether people like was mean to them or not, like of course with the whole LGBTQ and of course the Black Lives Matter and all that stuff, like the more that we fight for our rights and want to be respected, the more that people like, oh well, I can make worse jokes now because it affects them more, and the shock value is gonna be way worse now. Like I don't like niggas are just fucking stupid. I don't know what the fuck is going on with those niggas. They on some other shit. I
It's
have no
weird 'cause, like
idea.
that's because there's a not even I think it's actually like little children. There's some kids who are like who act just like Leafy and they post on TikTok and they be talking about like just they would just be like they be being blatant like racist and like homophobic and just be like talking just like him like his exact like they have a game playing in the background some random obscure game and be
Yeah.
talking like in his same voice the same cadence. I mean, just like him on TikTok, and people love that. And it's like a small kid. The kid's like probably like 9 or some shit. It's like, bro,
Nah.
like it's a young kid. It's a very young kid,
Oh
and it's just
nah.
like how did you like? First of all, how do you even have a phone? But I don't know, whatever. But it's just like I don't like the influence like goes through time. Like a lot of people might have forgot who Leafy is till just right now till we brought him up, but people still remember. Like they go back and watch those videos and they still take stuff from them. It's just like that's just I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just nah.
YouTubers had such a grasp on little kids, but speaking of little kids, I didn't hear nothing about this story. Like I wanted to hold off to wait till what Jez had to say about it because he knows way more about this story than me. But apparently there was a story with 2 kids who got caught like almost about to shoot up a school. Jez, you want to tell us more about it because I have no idea what the fuck that story is.
Well, I saw it from when Dante brought up in his latest video, and I looked into a little bit more. I mean, they caught them before they did anything, so there was not too much to go about. But basically, so they're from Florida, so I mean, no surprise there.
Hell
So
no.
they're from Florida. One is 13, one is 14. I'm not saying their names because fuck those kids. I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna give them no type of clout. But it was 13 or 14-year old, and so it was a one day at school, and another kid said that they had a gun in their backpack. One of the kids, and then so they pulled the kid aside, checked his backpack. He didn't have any guns, but he did have a whole map of every single surveillance camera within the school.
Damn. One of the kids
So
had
then,
that?
yeah, in his
How?
backpack. I don't, they're just planning it out. So they go to the kid's house and they like okay we have to investigate this shit. This is serious. They find I forgot the exact things, but I know they found shotgun shells. They found like not a sword, but it might have been like a machete or something, like some type of like knife or sword.
What?
They found some other guns, like some pistols and things like that. They had like a whole
Jesus.
armory in that bitch basically.
Where did they
And
get all this shit from?
that's my point exactly. So towards the end of that video, it was the Inside Edition. Like if y'all know what Inside Edition is, like they've been going on forever.
Yeah, like the
So
TMZ type shit.
yeah, but towards the end they had them. They took the people to court, of course those kids, and they had the mom at the stand. I hate seeing things like this. I understand, that's your mom. That those are her kids, obviously. I mean, as a mom, I'm not a parent, so I can't even imagine like having like, your own kid be just them doing this shit and you just finding out about it. But my thing was while she was sitting out there on the testimony, like they would never hurt a fly. She even said that I think a cousin of one of the boys went to that same school. So it's like she was like
So?
she was like he would never shoot up the school because he has family there. Yada yada yada. And of course like Dante was saying in this video, a lot of people who seen the article have said like why, as you a parent, do not know what your kids are doing? That's like the biggest. And if you know, it's a reoccurring thing. It's always some white kids who their parents never are paying attention to what they're doing. I'm so confused. How do they have shotgun shells, machetes, pistols, like a whole armory in their room? Like, do you not check up on them?
Do you not ask how their day was? Do you not tell them to clean their room? Like, what? Where are you in their life?
They gotta
The
be
dad
like
didn't even say
completely
nothing
neglecting
either.
him.
It goes back to our previous thing because the dad didn't say a single word during the interview. That man was stonewalled. He wasn't crying. He wasn't speaking.
What?
He wasn't talking anything. It was like a quick 30-second interview with they were showing like parts of it. Mom was like crying, breaking down, like, "Oh my, it's my baby. He would never do it." Something like that. The dad was just staying. The dad was just there. I don't know. I don't know if the arm was around her shoulder, and the dad was just like just sitting right next to her. Wasn't saying a word. Then wasn't crying. No, nothing.
Dads don't
And
give
so
a
it,
damn about their kids.
it's just like it's wild to me, and it's probably the dad's probably like was probably beating on them or doing some stupid shit. So why they probably I'm not trying to like condone or like oh yeah that's why they did it, but like there's different factors to it. It's just wild. And then oh yeah, that's another thing I forgot. Yeah, they were like analyzing the Columbine videos and like looking back on Columbine
Ugh.
and was like
Jesus.
learning from it type of thing. And we like if you've watched the Paul, he does his conspiracy theory thing. If you're not watching it, go watch it, you dumbass bitch. But he's been doing it for a while now. And we went over the Columbine thing. We watched some like the videos and things like that. But that's the public eye. Nothing, no legal shit or nothing like that.
Yeah.
Allegedly. So we've seen some of these things, and we know they have like a cult following. They have people making like fan art of them. Girls love these two dudes on some weird shit. So it's just weird to see like how till not weird, but like till this very day, modern time, people are still looking back at that first one, and still like taking notes off that shit, like analyzing that shit and
We're
wanting to
studying
recreate
that
it.
shit.
Yeah, it's the same, same demographic. I know people like it's not about race. But it really is because who else is doing this shit besides young white males? There's nobody else doing this type of shit, and it's just sad to see because like then it goes into like gun control and mental health and shit like that. But that's a whole different discussion. But I don't know. I just to me, it's just like how many times? That's another thing too. Hold on before. It's funny because in the video the cop was so like staged. That's police officers are so dumb because the cop was like yeah I'm so glad we stopped I'm so glad we stopped like this school shooting. It's like bro, if that student didn't tell y'all that there was a gun in that man's backpack, even if the kid was wrong, he knew something was up with those two kids. If he never said that shit, we'd be talking about a whole different story right now. It would have been a whole school shooting like probably yesterday. We've been talking about a whole different thing. So shout out to that kid who said those two people are doing some weird shit. Because if it wasn't for him, his whole school would have been on some other shit right now. I don't know what the cop was talking about, make it seem like he did his job correctly. He didn't do a damn thing. Shut your ass up. But my thing is like, yeah, like I'm not gonna sit here and talk about gun control and mental health, but like something got to change. That's the bottom line. Like we have had so many school shootings to the point where other countries ridicule us and be like like for example with us in Britain like y'all drink tea and they be like well y'all die in schools like oh okay well we can't say nothing back to that shit because it's true.
y'all,
And I'm
y'all
not
remember last year, either that or like 2019, like school shootings were so normalized. Like you
crazy.
could
It
see
was
that shit on TV
crazy.
and be like, damn, again? Well, back to my
Yep.
day. Like,
Yep.
what?
One
Like,
happened. One happened like 3 hours away from my school back in like my junior year, senior year. One happened like an hour, not even 3 hours, just like an hour away from my school. A school got shot up, and it's like, bro, and it's so normalized because us we were like we were scared for like a day or two, and it's like back to normal. And the scared, not the funny. I don't know what, but whatever part is like during 2020 when we had this pandemic, people were rejoicing. We have no school shootings this year, nigga. We're
nigga,
not
because we
going to
weren't in
school this year.
school.
That is so sad to think about. That is so sad to think
Like,
about.
the
That
only
is
thing
so
that can
sad.
stop school shootings is them not going to school. That's fucking wild. And then niggas were saying they're
So
gonna like
sad.
shoot up the damn Zoom meetings. Like, I
For
don't know.
real.
These
Christ.
niggas were on some other shit, but like that's just crazy to think that something so violent and like sad got normalized. It was like I forgot. I mean, knowing that the fucking Gambino came out last year, I don't know what the fuck year is which anymore, but like either 2019 or 2020, there was a school shooting on the news like every other 2 weeks. That shit was like back to back to back to back, and then niggas were just like, I mean, it's normal. Like they were just not even batting an eye on it at some point. Like if I look it up, I'm pretty sure the numbers were like 100 or something school shootings that year or some shit. But I'm pretty sure it was 2019 because 2020 they weren't in school last year. But that shit was fucking wild to me.
How are they letting that shit getting over one though? That's my
That's
fucking
my
question.
thought.
Like
Yep.
everyone in the, like, a lot of politicians and like whether it's federal or whether it's state, local politicians, they just do not give a fuck about things like gun control or gun violence. The thing is, they only care about gun violence when it's about like people of color like shooting each other. Like you always hear the thing, oh, but look what's happening in Chicago, shit like that. That's about a whole bunch of like projection ass bullshit. Like that's just people just say stuff like that to just steer away from the big problem, which is people getting access to these guns. Young people especially, and a lot of these states, uh, basically it's super easy for you to get like a firearm. And like I saw this thing on like CNN the other day. It was like maybe it was like 3 years old. Of like how easy it was to get like a firearm. So this dude, like the reporter, went undercover into like a gun show in I think it was in Atlanta, and he walked in like apparently they're supposed to like it was like a private seller. They're supposed to ID check you before you like buy the firearm. They do like a semi super quick background check, maybe of like 15 minutes or whatever. But this dude went in. He was like, "Oh, I like that one. Can you do better on the price?" Went down like $200. Gave him the
Two
money, and then
hundred. That's
no. It wasn't like $200. No, negotiated for like $200 less than it was. I think it was like $800. Like it was like a pistol or something. And then a reporter, like who was undercover, he was like, so he gave him the money, and then the guy gave him the gun and the case, and that was that. And then the reporter was like, "Oh, you're not gonna check my ID?" He was like, well, no, just enjoy it." Some shit like that, because they have to check your ID if you're like over
damn.
Wow.
18 or 21 or some bullshit like that. And it's like it was so easy to get that. And one thing I will say as well, when it comes to like mass shootings or shootings or something like that, Australia had, I think, I'm not sure if it was a school or if it was just a mass shooting in
It
general
was. I think it was in general. It
elsewhere.
was in general. I think it was
Yeah,
in general.
Australia had a mass shooting. I think it was in the late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I think the next day or the next week,
They
guns were
canceled
banned in
guns.
Australia.
Yep.
And you know how many
Yep.
mass shootings there's
Wait,
been in Australia
banned?
since?
Like they can't have guns anymore?
Yes. You know how
Yeah.
many mass shootings there's been in Australia since?
Probably none.
Zero. Absolutely none. I'm not saying that we have to ban guns in the United States. That's not what
No.
I'm saying. I'm just saying, do you see how easy it was for them to take action over there without hesitation or anything? And those were like adults that were killed too. And not to say like, oh, some lives are more important than others, but
Yeah.
they had, bro, 20 like elementary school kids were killed in Connecticut like 10 years ago. You would think that after 10, like 20 babies were killed, shot and killed, that something would change. Absolutely nothing changed, and it's just even gotten worse.
Yeah,
It's
nothing
it's
changed.
ridiculous.
You talking about Sandy Hook, right?
Yeah, Sandy Hook.
Yeah, that's. I remember that story. Like, I mean, I wasn't a part of the whole like Columbine thing because I don't even think I was old enough. Like, I don't even remember what year
That
that
was like in
happened
the
in.
90s.
Yeah, so like Sandy Hook was like the major big event that I remember first. Like that shit went crazy. Like people were talking about that for like weeks. Of course, there was the whole Alex Jones thing with him calling it fake, and then niggas got him the fuck up out
Fuck
of here.
Alex Jones.
But like, I just don't see like how we just keep, or not we, of course, but like how America keeps allowing this stuff to just happen over and over and over again. Like America has a problem of just like when something bad happens, they just let it happen again and again and again until it gets normalized and everybody just starts like treating it like it's nothing basically. Like fix the problem. Like I don't know what the fuck you gonna do, but like definitely not what the hell Texas is doing, allowing everybody to just have a gun without any IDs. I don't know what the fuck that governor's thinking, because that means just anybody can just go in there and get a fucking gun at this point. But just like America don't solve a damn thing when it comes to major crisis. Like
Because we're the only country that even has guns. Like, look, literally, because Britain, because Australia, Britain, Canada, they're all like connected type of thing. Like how Zane was saying like earlier. Like they don't own Canada and Australia, but they all like recognize the royal family or whatever. So that's why like Australia, Britain, Canada, none of them have guns. Like they still have like they of course they still have crime. Like it's not like crime is non-existent. They still have like knife attacks and shit, but they have no guns. The cops don't hold guns either. Like no one holds guns. And like Taco said, there's no shootings. There's no nothing. Like there's still like stab attacks and stuff. Like people still get jumped and stuff like that. But it's still a lot more reduced than people being shot. I think they still have like van people that be driving through crowds of people. People are just insane. They just do anything to kill people for some reason. I don't know. But like America is like I don't know, like because Australia, you see how quick it was. Like they said, okay, there's a problem, let's address it, and it's been fine since then. At least in terms of the school shootings or any type of shootings like that. With America, it's just like people are so held onto the past. Like, well, our founding fathers, they made the Second Amendment. We can't take it out.
Those
Well, it's like
niggas were evil.
they like slavery too. We took slavery out, so I don't understand. Like the amendments is the whole part of the amendment is to be amended. They're supposed to change. They're not like freaking Ten Commandments. They're not set in stone. They can change whenever they need to be changed. Women didn't have the right to vote back then. Now they do. Things change. Like Taco said, it's crazy to me how people will see children being shot, killed, and not think, okay, maybe we should do something about this. It's just wild to think about. It's like I know a lot of people say like for Americans, people they don't care about anything until it affects them. That's why when the whole thing was going on in Afghanistan, people like, well, that's sad, but what can I do? But of course, if it turned around and something happened to their state and they were in that type of environment, they'd like, I want someone to come help me. Well, now you understand it till it's too late. So it's just I don't know, like so your own child is in school in fear of their life, then maybe you'll be like, maybe we need some gun control. Maybe I should go vote for someone who actually cares about gun control. But they're never going to do something, and even and that's not even true either, because like even if the Democrats do win over the Republicans, nothing's still never done because that's how our country is. So it doesn't matter which side wins. It's just a clusterfuck. That's why I'm moving out this bitch as soon as I can, because this shit is it's a nah. That's for sure nah. We were talking about that shit last night too. We're watching Forever Purge because school shootings is like it's like the beginning of a purge, to the point where it's so normalized that no one cares. So it's only a matter of time for like it starts just spreading and spreading and spreading, and then people like just keep not caring till it grows to a point where it's like a whole purge. But I'm leaving before that shit even comes about because I'm not trying to deal with that shit. Hell no.
I didn't know Australia had like banned completely like guns. I never knew that shit. So
I,
why do people bring up the argument like, oh, remember in prohibition times when they banned alcohol, they still found a way to get alcohol. Like, why can't somebody just be like, oh, in Australia they banned it and haven't had a shooting since? Why does nobody ever? Why have I never heard about that shit?
it is different because we came so far because that was back in the 90s, like Taco says. So it's like they did it so fast, and they probably just have more sense than Westerners because they're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, of course, if people are dying to guns, just stop the guns. People in America, since we come like modern day, we've had this freaking amendments since God knows how long, and people have always had the mindset to where like, well, the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, we gotta keep it the same. Well, we can't change anything. It's our God given right. Yada yada yada. That's how they think. So like I said, you can't think with
God
logic in
given.
America. Logic doesn't work in America. So if you pose the question, okay, well, look at Australia. They took away guns the next day. They haven't had school shootings since then. They're gonna, like you said, they're gonna pull this thing out their ass. Like, well, okay, well, if we take away guns, well, the people are gonna still get it from black markets and things like that. I mean, okay, well, we'll let them. I mean, I'd rather them like get it, have to go do these large ass workarounds than is have just be able to walk off and get it on sale from Walmart or some shit. And then then they would pose the same question. Well, okay, well, if cops don't have guns, then how they gonna fight back versus criminals? Well, let them train. Let they and
Actually,
that's
train your cops now.
that's a whole fucking different. I can talk about that forever. It's just crazy to me how cops only go to the academies for like 6 months, while doctors
If that, like
have to go to school
6 weeks.
for freaking like 6 to 10 years. Doctors are in school because that they have people's lives in their hands. The same thing for cops. They have people's lives in their hands. So how come they're only going to academies for like a month to 6 months, getting a gun? They're not trained at all. They have no fist. They have no hand-to-hand combat. They don't know how to do anything. All they know how to do is shoot. And even with that, they probably don't know how to do that shit. Cause they be killing people left, right, and center. I don't know. It's crazy.
Just adding to what Jess said about like amendments and everything like that. The Bill of Rights, the Second Amendment. People always want to bring up the shit. Oh, but that's the law of the land. Oh, that's you know, it's the Second Amendment. It's our right. The Bill of like, well, I'm not sure, and I don't think it's the whole Bill of Rights, but the Second Amendment specifically was added to all that, was instituted. You know how long ago? 230 years ago. Now, I don't know about you, but do you have any memory of 230 years ago? I don't fucking think so. So, listen, the founding fathers or whatever type of bullshit they want to call the slave owners back then, what they did, what they created, everything like that. People really love to say, "Oh, but that's what the founders intended." Bullshit, bro. That shit was damn near 250 years ago. A quarter of what is it, like a millennium, a quarter millennium, 250 years.
Yeah,
Bro, so much shit. They didn't even have fucking phones or TV or you know.
they didn't have a damn thing back
They didn't
then.
have a bro. They didn't even have fuck. They didn't even have. I don't
They
fuck. I
didn't have
can't even
shit.
fucking talk because it's so fucking stupid. That's the thing because they didn't have shit at all back then. Back then, if someone coughed on you, you're dead the following week. Like it's the dumbest shit in the world. How people always talk about that, and like shit like that, rules like amendments and everything were made to be changed, were made to be amended. Things like that were made to be changed. And why do people have to keep dying for no fucking reason? And that's the type of shit that gets me so pissed off. Like especially when it comes to things like gun violence and everything. Seeing this shit happen in schools, bro. Schools. Like that's the shit where if I graduated college this year, but in high school, I always had that, low key. It wasn't always obviously at the top of my
Yeah,
radar or anything.
I
I
knew where every
always
exit
had that
was.
fear.
I knew where every
Yeah.
exit
Oh,
was.
absolutely. Hell
Exactly.
yeah.
Every exit, every window, every single room I went into on my regular basis, I knew at least two exits to go to in case somebody started shooting. I knew what table to go behind. I knew, what pillar to stand behind for cover and all that shit. I knew if I'm gonna jump here, I'm gonna break my legs, but I can still crawl into the bushes and be hidden. I knew every single one of those things. And you call me paranoid, call me any type of
No,
bullshit
that's
you can.
life.
That's our fucking lives. Adults don't understand that. We've had to live with that for years and years, and none of this shit is gonna change. None of this shit has changed. I don't want my kids to grow up in a place where they have to go through the same shit. Obviously, it's not, and it's not at the front of everyone's radar, But the thing is, it's always there in the back of our heads that hey, this is a possibility. This isn't, far fetched. This is a possibility. This can happen. It is plausible that this could happen. So it's best to be prepared. I don't want my kids to go through that, but unfortunately, they are going to have to go through that if everything now continues of the
I'm
inaction
I
leaving.
don't think
the
anything's
I am
gonna
federal
change.
government.
leaving. I am
Nothing is ever
leaving.
going to change.
Are you really getting out of here, Jez?
I actually do want to. Like, I've been saying that for like since like, I've been saying that since I don't like every day. It feels like you learn something about America that's so dumb. Like learning that we only us have credit in this country, but no other country has credit. Insane. Knowing that we have so much monopolies over here, like everything is owned by one person. Knowing that we have so many homeless people here, especially in Texas and California and all over the country right now. But they throw away. They say we throw away so much food per day that could feed our whole country. So you're telling me we are throwing like and it's not even like spoiled food either. It's like, like it's just like food that's like it might just be a little bit because people want food that's not gonna what's it called that it's not close to the expiration date. So
Yeah.
even if it's like a week out, they'll just throw it away.
The
Why don't
thing
you
is,
give it to a
like,
home? Why
even
don't you
because
go give it to homeless
I work at
people?
a private school, and like at the end of the day, after we get done cooking, we throw away like pans and pans and pans of food. And like I asked them like, why don't we just give this food away? And they're like, well, it's against like the school's regulation. We can't give it to anybody. I'm like, bro, we're literally just trashing like at least 10 pans of food. Like, let's give this to somebody that's hungry. Like, what's the point of throwing this shit away? But it's literally against like, I don't know if it's like Georgia regulation or the county regulation, but like we literally can't
A
give
lot of
that food to
states that have
anybody.
that shit. Like I've seen videos of like people go to Dunkin' Donuts at night, like they like there's like a huge ass
Yeah,
bag, clear bag of
yeah.
all the donuts. Like, oh, we can't donate this because it's just policy. Because I guess they're all scared of getting sued or something if a person who gets that gets sick.
Yeah.
But that's bullshit. Come on, nobody's gonna sue over like if they have like a little stomach ache from free food that they fucking got. Ain't no damn person
Hell
going to do
no.
that.
Fuck no. That shit is just so whack to me. Like the first time I heard that, I knew this country was just on some other shit. Like the fact that we can't give free food to people who are starving and have nothing to eat just because we're afraid that they might get sick is the wackest damn thing I've ever heard in my fucking life. That's just so stupid.
I should just any like I said just any people, a person of color, just if you're black, because like there's so much things wrong with our country. Like I said, like, whether it be like food or how they're treating the pandemic or just the government itself. Like there's too many factors. There's way too many cons than pros. Because before, like the whole American dream thing, you can come up here, make a new life for yourself. Now it's like, why would you even come over here to make a new life? Like if you're an immigrant, they hate you here. They despise you. They don't want you to be here. They tell you to go back to your country every other second. So I might as well leave and go to another country because shit, no need to be here anymore. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, America's coming close to just collapsing. I mean, at this point, I mean, we're friends with a lot of other people in like of other countries in this server, and they all look at America as like a fucking joke. So, I mean, like once I heard that, like niggas in like Germany and England and everywhere else that people are from in here, like they think of this country like it's just nothing at this point. Like, yeah, of course we can get busy if the war comes, but like at that point, I don't even think we fucking win at this point. Cause like Asia, I feel like I say all the time, Asia got some shit in their fucking in their arsenal. But
that's like a false thing because like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, well we can just bomb anybody. But the thing is like, yeah, the thing is people hate America. So let's say every other country in the world turn around and say, okay, fuck America, we're gonna lose. Like yeah, we might take away a few countries or like a few whatever, but
we're getting
if the whole
destroyed.
world it hates one place, we're gonna lose. That's how it was with Germany. Most people hated Germany, so we ended up winning that war. It's the same thing, just vice versa. If, yeah, we might have like some people that are like we can maybe like force Mexico or force Canada to be on our side because they're so close to us. But I mean, if Germany goes, okay, hey, Britain, France, whatever, Russia, let's just join up together and just bomb the whole place. Fuck it out of here. We're done. By that time, I'm gonna be in Germany, so I'll be like, yes, sir, finally. No, I'm playing. I don't want that shit. But
Germany, fuck no. I'm gonna
I'm
do
just saying
like
that's
Norway or Sweden or some shit.
yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
Germany. They on some other shit too. But this American conversation gonna make me mad as fuck, bro. I ain't gonna do a segue. Let's just talk about Lil Nas. Fuck that shit. It's gonna make me mad. All right, so Lil Nas X dropped an album a couple days ago. I think it was like Friday.
Yeah.
I've only gotten to listen to like 5 songs of the album, but I think it's fire so far. But I just want to hear what Jez and Talking got to say about it because I didn't get to listen to the whole thing, unfortunately. But like from what I listened to, I'd rate the album a strong 8 out of 10. Of course, I've always fucked with Lil Nas X. Even when people were shitting on Old Town Road, that's still like a good ass song to me. He dropped nothing but bangers. The only gripe that I have with Lil Nas X is that he bases all of his music on growing. He bases all that shit on controversy because everybody knows that controversy sells. So he'll make a fire ass song, put a fucking very 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 controversial ass music video behind it, and then everybody will talk about it for weeks upon weeks, and then that of course gets the numbers up. But I'd much rather just have him just make good music like that. I don't think he should be making music videos like that to sell controversy. I mean, like the fucking, of course, with the jealousy, niggas are mad homophobic, so keep doing stuff like that. But like with the whole, he knows he only did the whole twerking on the devil thing because he knew it was gonna piss everybody off and start talking about it. That's just something else. But like,
He said, yeah, I mean, the thing with that whole thing is like he does those things because I mean it's still for a reason though because he even talked about on that's what I'm saying like the second part of the album he was singing about his like him processing like doing going through like of course he's gay and stuff like that so him processing like being hated for that being hated like he's black things like that so how far he's came and like it's kind of like a victory lap almost like I'm like people thought I was like I'm a one hit wonder they take me seriously I got the Christians hating me I got the yada yada hating me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't think he's making the videos like as like I want to make the Christians mad because I mean like he's probably making a video like man fuck these niggas because they sat here and be ridiculing me, making me feel bad about myself. Let me just say fuck them. And
yeah,
then it just happens to be like we said earlier, like those Christians who specifically are be like, you need to be Christian. Those are the main ones that would be just those, who keep watching the video, keep there was like actually like freaking churches that were making sermons and talking about this shit in churches. Like that's just wild to me.
So
like
things like that, it's
I'm
like,
never
nah,
mad at
bro.
like the music video or anything. I'm just like I want him to like solely rely on his music carrying everything and not relying on the music video. I mean, he's a fucking genius either way because he knows what's gonna get everybody listening to the song and stuff like that. But like I just want him to like put more effort into the music part instead of the music video part. I mean, other than that, like I really fuck with Lil Nas X. Like that nigga is a fucking genius to me, honestly. Like he literally went from having nothing and living in his fucking sister's apartment to being, selling the best song ever in history. I'm pretty sure. I think Old Time Road topped everything. I'm pretty sure, but yeah, he's a genius to me. I just wanted to like rely more on his music carrying than his music videos, but I mean that's not really more of a gripe. That's probably just like advice, if anything. But
You're right though. I feel like you're right. Before Taco talks, no, you're definitely right. Because now he's at the stage where it's like, okay, cool. So you know me, you made all these people mad. You know, Nike with the blood shoes and all this other shit you've been doing. Cool. But like now he has to like, can you prove longevity? Because yeah, you prove you're not a one hit wonder. So a lot of people who are not one hit wonder, they make at least one good album, and and then but then they kind of still fall off. So can you have that longevity with your music alone? Because I don't like a year from now, I don't want to still be seeing videos of this nigga like fucking twerking on God and making people mad. Like I don't mind trying to see that shit. Like you can still do it or whatever, but like at that point, then it's like yeah, you're just making people mad. Like can you like? I'm not trying to like I said before. Like I know this man's been through a lot, so it's not to like just like I don't care about your struggles. I understand you're doing it for a purpose, but like now let's see like what you can do. Like for example, like because that I mean, he's kind of doing that already because that one video he put out for I forgot what the song is called, but he put a video out for on the album, and there was like a scene where he's kissing a boy or whatever. It was referencing that movie called like Brokeback Mountain or something. I didn't watch
yeah,
that movie, but it referenced that movie. I need to watch that movie because it's really good or something.
yeah, it says pretty good. I'm probably gonna watch it soon, honestly.
Yeah, but he referenced that. So like things like that, like that's just natural. Like people get mad, they're just homophobic. Who gives a fuck?
No, yeah,
Things like
if you
that.
get mad at that, then you're just playing out homophobic for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I think
even just
yeah.
like his simplistic videos, like the thing, like he has a lot of people mad at him, homophobes and stuff like that. But like I said, I just want him to like prove everybody wrong that he can do this music shit without making a music video that everybody was talking about. Like if he comes out and just like does a normal, like it just puts out a fucking music video of him just sitting in a chair or some shit, just singing his heart out, and the song still does numbers, then nobody can say shit to him anymore. And everybody hating at that point is just a homophobe. So fuck them niggas. I'm on the side of Lil Nas whenever it comes to like I want him to prove everybody wrong. Like no matter if you're a hater, homophobes, sex, like any racist, anything. Like I just want him to prove everybody wrong with his music. Like that's just he's just fucking he's awesome. But I didn't get to listen to the whole album. But like, how did y'all feel about the album?
To give it
So,
a 6 out of 10. Six,
Damn.
oh, you're wild. Um,
maybe seven. 6.57. Nah,
listen,
yeah, I seven. Yeah, go. Give it a seven.
Montero is a top three album of the year. And we're gonna get to
God
this
damn.
conversation
God
next episode.
damn.
Listen, we're gonna get to this conversation next episode. But I just want to put it out there. Montero is a top three album of the year. And listen, I gotta tell you something about Lil Nas X. This dude is a goat. And even though it's what like three years into his career, you can't tell me different. This dude has mastered the game. This dude knows what's up.
Yeah, he's a
And I mean,
genius.
when it comes to like the whole music video thing, like what you're saying, what you guys are saying, I do agree. In a sense, like I feel like not necessarily that you know he has to he has to prove himself at this point because I feel like he's already proven himself like more than a lot more than a lot of people may have thought. So I don't. I mean, I don't. If he does make like a normal, quote unquote, normal video, like where it's just like him not doing anything for like shock value or whatever, um, and that'd be cool too. The thing is, I don't. He's released like other music videos, which are I mean they're all every single music video he's put out is like over the top, like not necessarily like controversial each one, but it's just like over the top in like like a whole ass movie. Like I remember like the Panini video, it was all futuristic and everything like that. Like definitely I guess a little bit like more tame since it was like less controversial I guess. Um But no, the album was great. The album was everything I could have asked for. Now that being said, I did listen to the album leak like 2 months ago because
Oh
the
my
whole
fucking
the
Damn.
entire
god!
album did leak 2 months ago,
The
but
entire album?
like 90% of it, yeah. So it did leak 2 months ago, but there were some songs on that leak that were on this on the album, the final album, and there were some songs that are on the final album that were on the leak, but they were like unfinished. So they didn't have like extra background vocals, didn't have like a specific verse, but they were basically the same song. So I did listen to those. So hearing like the final product, I'm definitely super satisfied. I enjoyed it throughout. The first half is more or less like bangers and like anthems. The second half is a lot like more like personal songs like Tales of Dominica, songs like Lost in the Citadel, Void. Basically, the entire second half of the album is definitely very personal, very emotional and vulnerable, which Lil Nas gets into. The features, I would say, definitely a kind of a disappointment just because they didn't go as hard as they could have gone. We got Megan Thee Stallion on the album, Doja Cat, Elton
Song. I
John
hate
on the
that
piano.
song.
It's a bad
I hate
song.
Meg's song. I hate Meg's song so much. I don't like that song at all.
Oh,
Niggas love
God's
that
Had Time.
shit. I hate that one. I don't know.
I
I
like
just
every single song. It's just like,
Meg's like the
um,
baby to me now. Fuck that shit.
but hell no, I don't think so.
I
But
think so completely.
I think like so every song on the album I think was good, at least good. At the very bare minimum. There's no bad song on the album. Just going back to features, Miley Cyrus is on the outro. Of course, you have Jack Harlow and Industry Baby. Um, it's a decent, uh, realm of like features. They definitely did not go as hard as they could have though. Doja Cat's verse is like 15 seconds, like barely anything. Megan could have gone a little bit harder. She had some bars, but she could have gone harder. Elton John didn't have a verse or anything. I think he was just like on the piano for the one of the songs.
Oh, he didn't even
So
have a
that's
verse?
Mm-mm.
no, Elton John. No, he didn't sing or anything. He just like I'm pretty sure he just did like piano on the song.
How do you
He
get the
was just credited.
legend Elton John on your album and not give him a verse?
That's what I was thinking the same thing too. So that was kind of disappointing, but overall, like just for the album itself, it was great. It was everything I wanted it to be, maybe just a little bit more. I give it a 9 out of 10. Really, it is a great album. It's top three album of the year for me, and there's a lot of great music that has come out this year. And for me to say, on release weekend, that it's top three, I feel like that has a lot. That
All
says a
right,
lot.
so do you have it better than Donda?
Yeah, I do.
And of course, you have it over CLB because you just can't stand Drake for whatever reason.
Fuck CLB.
Oh my god.
All
All right,
I
well.
love you. Sorry.
How
Go
is it
ahead.
there's no way. 'Cause, like, so that song, that album is not that good. Niggas are tripping.
What album was
That
that?
album,
Montero?
yes, it's not
do
that
you
good.
do you hate it
It's
that
good.
much?
Wow.
I don't hate it. It's just not that good. People are over. There's no way, bro. Because I can name, bro, a freaking J Cole record definitely better. Baby Keem definitely better.
Crap.
Tyler
Not Baby
definitely
Keem.
better.
Did he say
Donda,
Cab?
Tyler,
Donda is
hell
definitely
no.
better. Donda is definitely
Wait,
better.
Hell no.
you say Tyler no?
Yeah, I said Tyler. No, Tyler. Listen, Tyler. I
Ah,
don't want to. I don't want
shit.
to discuss any. I don't want to discuss a lot more because we are going to talk about our top five, top 10 albums of the year next time.
Yeah,
So that is on my
top five
top
albums
10.
next week.
Yeah, that is on my top five. So I don't want to say anything much about that, but yeah, no, I think Montero is better than those albums.
Damn. He has Montero over Calm. What is it called? Call Me If You Get Lost.
And because
Fuck.
Tyler Cole and what's it called? And Kanye dropped way better albums. The production wise, feature wise for sure. Because if you're saying the features
I mean,
or
features,
didn't
yeah.
do that good, they ain't no way. Because half those songs, like towards the second half, they were boring to me. Honestly, I was like, and he was saying the same thing over and over again. If you listen to the lyrics, he wasn't saying anything new. That's what got me back from Donda. Because Donda, Kanye was saying the same shit on multiple songs. I like Tyler's album because Tyler, it was short to the point, and there was no song that sounded the exact same as the other one. Donda, I could say that it was way too fucking long. Drake too, it was way too fucking long. Cole was definitely better because Cole was, like I said, short and
Yep.
concise. He did his thing and he left.
Why does he keep saying?
Yeah,
Did you not fuck
he,
with Cole's album?
I'm,
I mean,
I'm not even saying Cole's in my top five, but I'm saying Cole
No,
is for
I
sure
I
better
just
than
want to know what
Montero.
Taco feel because the podcast wasn't a thing back then. What did you feel about the off season?
so I mean, one thing that people might not know about me, I am not the biggest J. Cole fan. Damn,
His nigga,
I
bro.
said that so fucking weird. I'm not the biggest J. Cole fan. Like that's just the truth because I feel like I mean a lot of people do enjoy Cole and Kendrick, but I'm one of those where I prefer one over the other, and I definitely prefer Kendrick 100 times more than J. Cole. That being said, uh, I like J. Cole, and right now, especially over the past few months, I've listened to a lot more of his stuff more regularly, a little here and there. The off season, I thought it was okay. I don't think it was great. Um, I definitely share the same sentiment. Like a lot of people thought it was like a disappointment, or it wasn't as great as it could have been.
What
I
people were
would
saying
definitely,
that?
yeah, a lot of people were saying that. I would give it maybe like a 6.5, maybe like a little bit of like maybe like a 7, like average good,
Wait,
something
so
like
okay,
that.
so you're giving Montero, you said 9 out of 10, and you're giving off season a
Yes.
6 out of 10.
6.5. Yes. Look at this dude
That,
laughing.
that is just so
But no. Listen,
wild.
listen. This
Nah,
dude.
that's like
I
this the
love
first
you. I love
this
you.
is the
I
first
love
time
you.
I've wanted to punch Taco in his face. Like I'm saying,
Hey, yo, hold on.
God damn.
calm
Wait,
play,
Nah,
so
the
what do
one
you?
thing
Okay, so what are you rating? What are you rating Tyler
calm
the Creator's album?
I'd rather not say. I wanna say this for next
Oh
time.
my god.
To me, I'm a big
Eh,
Tyler
eh,
fan, and
If
that's not
Jess
his best
Steffens, I'll,
work.
I'll tell you. If Jess Steffens, I'll tell you.
Nah,
Nah,
we'll
I'm
just wait
not,
till next
that's
week.
not.
Wait till
It's
next
not.
week.
It's not even that. I'm not. Like I said, I'm a big Tyler fan. Everyone knows that. But that's not even
Yeah.
his. That's not his best work at all. That's like to me his third best. I mean, his best is Igor, then Flower
Igor.
Boy to me, and then probably this one. Or I know a lot of people like Cherry Bomb. A lot of people
I
like
love
Cherry
Cherry
Bomb,
Bomb.
and a lot of people like Wolf. Some people hate fucking Cherry Bomb. Cherry Bomb is
A
so
lot of
polarized.
people, yeah.
Some people hate it. Some people love it. It's a change of taste. But to me,
I love
this
this.
my this album was kind of like Montero because they're both victory laps for both Tyler and Lil Nas X. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't mesh well with the Montero,
Wait,
but
you're
like,
calling Montero a victory lap? This is his first album.
yeah, but it's a victory lap in the sense of he's came so far because people are calling him a one night, whatever one hit
Ah,
wonder.
oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, it's a victory lap.
I will say also just to like add a little bit more context. I am also like huge as like Lil Nas X fan. Like ever since Old Town Road. Like I fucked with every single song he's dropped.
Yeah, yeah, me
He
too.
has not dropped a bad song at all. Like when I tell you I'm a big ass Lil Nas X fan, I'm a big ass Lil Nas X fan.
Yeah, I love that nigga.
I love
He's
that. I love
fire
that
as
dude.
fuck.
So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. He hasn't dropped a bad song in my opinion. I haven't
Yeah,
listened to the rest of the album, of course, but I got to go listen to that to see exactly what Jez is talking about. But
it's cool. Yeah, the second half is cool. Like he was singing his heart out though. I can't like he was doing his thing. He was doing his thing. He's doing his thing.
But
But
it's,
he,
yeah, he was. He
wait,
was.
did you put that in there? Did you put Taco said 140K for the sales for projected?
uh,
Yeah. So yeah. No, I
That's
just wanted to
wild.
mention that. So yeah, what we saw, I saw academics posted this. Lil Nas X Montero is on pace to sell 140K first week. Now, I gotta say
that's
that's a
wild to
lot.
me.
That is wild. That's a lot less than I thought. I'll be real. I thought it was gonna go platinum first week. It was platinum's like a million, right?
I
I
don't
thought it
even
was gonna
see
be
how
big
that's
ass
Ah,
possible.
numbers.
How the fuck did he only sell 140 first week?
Ain't no
140 is
way.
like that's like numbers that rookies would be getting, honestly.
nah,
Like if like
but
maybe
that's the
like
first
a
album though. That's the first album.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
yeah,
exactly
it's
what
his
it
it
is.
is the
first
first album
album, but
still.
it's his first album while he
Each year.
also has like 25 number ones. Like there's no like I don't even see how the numbers even line up that way. Like how do you
I
have
expected like
Industry Baby? How do you have
yeah,
Call Me by Your
call me by
Name?
your
Both
name.
those songs went platinum like first week. How the fuck do you get 140 first week? That don't even make sense. That's
I
just
guess
kind of
but
weird.
it doesn't transfer from social media. Like it really doesn't because a lot of people like will love that social media, but some people won't go and actually get the album type stuff. So I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, and also another thing is like because the people like he has a lot of haters like the people the Christians the homophobes they're not listening to the album because like you say he's getting pushed by controversy. So the main people who are buying his shit is the people who really love Lil Nas X. For people like Drake and Kanye,
both fans are listening to the other album to see if it's better than the other one, if that makes any sense. With Lil Nas X, it's mostly like he has the people like who hate him and the people who love him. Of course, the people who love him or respect him are gonna listen to the album, et cetera, et cetera. But he's still like a new act. Not everyone knows about Lil Nas X yet. They might see him. I was like, he's that one dude that did Old Town Road, and just write him off immediately. Still
Yeah,
to this day. So I feel like yeah, hey, the things could be wrong. It could jump up to like 250 or at least 300K. You never know.
that's still kind of low to me because I like
Wow,
anybody that
really?
I saw, yeah, 300K. I mean, it's of course amazing numbers, but like that's just not what I expected Lil Nas to be doing right now. Like I expected him to at least get like
Yeah.
400 plus, honestly. I mean, because like when you see like acts like Lil Uzi selling 500 first week, like I did not expect Lil Nas to only sell 140. Like that genuinely surprises me. But
Yeah. Well, he's been out for a while though. He
yeah,
a
but even
phone.
even his first album was 500.
Oh, that's what. Okay, then I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know. Maybe it is low. Maybe it is low. Yeah, never mind. What
Yeah.
was Uzi doing when his first? I don't know. Was he popping like? I mean, he had Playboy Cardi right
I
and
think I think
that type
Uzi's
of
been
hype.
popping his whole career.
Yeah,
Mm,
Uzi's been popping for a long time. At least what,
mm,
2015, 2016. So it's 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
don't
even
know if he
sure.
ever had like an underground phase because I'm not really a Uzi fan, but like I mean as far as I know he's been popping like ever since he came out.
Yeah.
Okay, you're
Nah,
not.
he
Okay,
went crazy on
maybe.
SoundCloud before
Ah,
any like type
Chance.
of his albums came out. He was
Okay,
like the king of SoundCloud at one point.
You said Chance.
okay. Chance, yeah, Chance was he came from SoundCloud too. That was his thing, right?
Man, fuck
Yeah.
Chance.
Damn.
Oh, I love my wine.
That nigga's ass. I mean now he is anyway.
So I'm gonna get this man an acid tap ASAP, bro.
He needs to get
Please,
divorced.
God, give him a drug.
That's Jack.
He needs to get divorced. That'd be so cool.
He
And
needs to
then
get
he can like,
divorced. Somebody needs to just slip him something. Like, hey, bro, I know you can get your mind off that, bro. Go ahead and take this acid right quick. And he's dropping the best album in the past 5 years.
I mean, heartbreak makes the best shit. It's sad, but like, look at the weekend. You know? Come on now.
Look at anybody that gets
Shout,
that
shout,
heartbroken. They drop fire. That's just how it is. So somebody needs to
808s
go
and heartbreak.
fuck his wife right now.
Fair,
Jesus
fair.
fucking Christ.
Nah, I feel like in the end, I think Lil Nas X, he will. I hope he reaches like 400K. Then I hope Lil Nas Academics is wrong. We'll see. At least 400K.
Yeah, I mean it's only Sunday. The album just dropped. I mean, to be honest, 100,000 in a day is pretty good. But we'll see how it ends up doing with the rest of this. But yeah, 140 is still gonna be pretty low. But I doubt. I really really doubt he doesn't break at least 300, 400,000
Wait,
before the end of the
how
year.
do you get that fast? How did academics get that like that thing like that number so fast? What the hell?
I think
Then
it's just based on
Everybody
like,
in the industry fucks with academics.
yeah, I think it's just about like trends. Like, I mean, obviously he himself didn't like create the data. Like somebody definitely gave that to him. But I think it's just like maybe I think at the first 2 days they calculate like what is like the average amount I guess of sales or streams they get per day, and I guess they kind of average that out for the whole week.
Yeah, and then they decrease it. Like basically put it on like a slope graph. I'm pretty sure. Like they average it. They average the views for the first day, then the second day, and then they like multiply it by like how they think the rest of the slope is gonna go, or some shit. I don't know. I don't fucking work in the industry, but yeah. Hopefully, Lil Nas X will getting like 300,000. But I'm ready to get the
It's a
fuck up
legend.
out of here. If y'all are, so we almost at 2 hours.
God damn.
Yeah, we did our thing. We did our thing.
Ah!
Oh yeah. I mean, we didn't do last week, so it's like a long episode. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. All right, y'all. This has been we'll name this podcast later. Whenever we get a name, we'll alert you guys immediately. If you guys think of a clean name, please put it in the comment section. But until then, this has been Taco. This has been Jez. This has been
Ah,
Apollo. We will see you guys in the next one. Have a good ass rest of
Yes,
your week.
sir.
I'll see you guys next Monday. Yeah.
Peace and love. Let's go.
so yes, sir.